Let's get more now from Tahsin al-Halabi. He's a political analyst joining us live from Damascus. Mr. Halabi, thanks for being with us. First of all, we have the allegations from the Syrian government that countries like Saudi Arabia, like Qatar, who have been pushing for this resolution against Damascus at the UN, are not in a position to address the issue of Syria because of the situation they're facing themselves, and also because of the fact they're saying that they're providing financing and they're providing arms to these armed groups in Damascus. So what do you think about the role of countries like Qatar and Saudi Arabia, which has become quite prominent now?
It is very shameful to Saudi Arabia, to Qatar, to every Arab country that voted for this motion, for this project, because they have already sided the Israeli voting in the General Assembly. It is the second time in the history of Palestine, of al-Quds, of the Palestinian cause, and it is the first page in the history that some Arab countries would side Israel in voting against Syria. So I think it is natural for Saudi Arabia and Qatar to try to implement the Israeli-American agenda against the resistance movements, Arab and Islamic resistance movements in the area. The only enemy for all the Arab and Muslim countries in the Middle East is Israel, and the only target for all those Arab and Muslim countries should be, in fact, liberating al-Quds, liberating Palestine, bringing back the rights of the Palestinians, not besieging Syria and threatening the stability of the Syrian people and the Syrian leaders that confronting Israel. Well, I think this agenda would be, I am sure, in a failure even within a few months.
Well, Mr. Halabi, the question is, what do you think that agenda is? When we are speaking of these countries and, of course, their Western supporters, countries like the United States and members of the Arab League, are they, for instance, looking for regime change in Syria? What are they trying to achieve? Are they just looking for President Assad to resign, like the situation, for instance, similar to the situation in Yemen? Or is it more about, do you think, a military intervention in Syria?
You know very well that they are obeying the orders of USA, France, and Britain and Israel in order to make those countries control the whole Middle East area, the whole Arab Islamic area. Still in this area are certain countries that they are independent, that they control their decisions, that their people are willing to decide that the independence is the most important target. Those countries like Syria, like the Islamic Republic of Iran, like Lebanon, like the resistance of Hezbollah, like the resistance of Hamas and the Palestinian factions, those are out of the control of Israel and USA and Britain and France. For this reason, those Arab countries would like to eliminate such independence because they are afraid that their own private interests against their people in the Gulf states, then they would be in danger. And for this reason, they find it possible time to obey the orders of USA. Don't forget that all the Arab peoples of Saudi Arabia and Qatar and the Gulf states, they would be against their rulers if they could have any kind of expressing opinion in a polls, in election. The only countries that they have no election, no democracy, are the GCC countries. And those countries are trying to promote certain democracy or liberty in Syria. It is very ridiculous to find such thing going on in the Middle East.
Right. And Mr. Halabi, just quickly before we leave, you could also briefly tell us what do you think then lies ahead now for Syria? Is it going to be able to tackle these armed groups, according to itself, that are waging violence in the country, or do you think there is going to be some kind of foreign intervention?
Surely Syria leadership with the people. Now they are going to have a referendum on the constitution. We have now in Syria about 6 parties, new parties, in order to participate in any kind of polls of election. So Syria is building new reforms, and through such new reforms that President Bashar Assad declared and verified, I am sure that Syria would pass all this instability in success, because it is a unity between the majority of the Syrian people and the leadership, and it is also a kind of expression of the willing of the people. I am sure that all those conspiracies of USA, of Israel, of certain Arab GCC countries would be in failure.
Mr. Tahsin al-Halabi, political analyst, thank you very much for joining us there live from Damascus.